Let's start
my
again.
God.
Let's start
Okay.
again. Hi, Nicola. How are you, darling?
I am great. I'm pretty excited because we have got somebody absolutely fantastic, and I want you to lead the way.
What's something that you and I tend to we talk about a lot is relationships, communication, relating to another human being, how imperative that is for your health and your vitality and your happiness.
Oh, well, it's truly everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
love.
a barometer of life, it's just and someone might say, I live alone, or, I don't see anyone, I don't do anything. Well, I think by the person we're about to interview, maybe that will inspire you to step out, open that door, swing it wide open, step out, go and talk to someone at a bus stop, join a group, just get out of your normal habit of doing nothing, get out of the mindset, because it's imperative.
Yeah, that's true. As we know, connection is a huge thing, and then with loneliness and all that. But also it's the state of the heart, and
That could be a book, The State of the Heart.
The State of the Heart.
Isn't there a song,
And
The State of Your Heart?
Yeah, there is. This one breaks into a song at any
I know,
time.
it's a problem. Okay, let's get into
what
it.
about love?
Okay, love, baby.
baby. I'm in the mood for a bit of loving.
Let's get into love, lust, dating disasters, relationships, red flags, and the secrets to making romance actually work. Today's guest has seen it all. Known across Australia as Dr. Lurve.
Love, doctor.
She's a psychologist and relationship expert who has dedicated her career to helping people understand what makes us tick when it comes to love. Look, whether you're happily coupled up or navigating the dating world or just wondering why relationships can be so complicated, she's got the answers, and we're delighted to welcome the one and only Dr. Lurve.
Dr. Love.
I love the name.
I know so much.
Where did the name come from? It's so random.
How do you spell it?
Lurve.
Of course.
Doesn't it sound better?
I
Like,
love it.
like on
Yeah,
the radio. Dr.
Lurve.
Lurve.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a radio. Actually, it was from the radio. I was
Yeah.
interviewed many years ago about a relationship topic, and the host, and I can't even remember who it was, I think it was someone in Adelaide, said, "You like the Love Doctor?" And I went, bingo.
That's it.
Yeah, and I couldn't get LOV, so I went, love's like the next best thing. Me and my girlfriend were like, how could we do this? And we're like, love? And we're like, yes.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I think
Basically.
it's even you remember it more too.
Yeah,
Sure, I agree with you.
Dr.
You're actually right.
Dr. Love.
Yeah.
And so welcome to the back fence. And just want to sort of start too that your philosophy is simple, that you say you can't build a healthy relationship with someone until you've built a healthy relationship with yourself.
Yes. There's a little bit more to that though, right?
Elaborate.
I will. So there's this, it's almost like the saying that you can't have a relationship till you're healed or you're got all your shit together, which is not true, actually. Your relationship brings out the parts of you that need healing, whether you like it or not. So you can't be ever fully healed before you go out and meet someone. If anything, like someone messaged me yesterday and she was like, I've met a guy I haven't dated for 8 years, but he has baggage. I'm really worried. I know you're going to say it's like a red flag, Dr. Love, and I'm actually, no. Like, it's character. Baggage is character because it gives you insight into how the person unpacks it. Is he showing up? Does he have the ability to talk through it? Does he not check out when he's going through hardship? Like, it gives you so much information. So it's not about being fully healed. It's about being able to consistently work on yourself. And I say, like, relationships and growth is like yoga. Like, you never really master it. You can always go a bit deeper. You can be a bit more flexible. It's the practice of relationships. It's not mastering it.
I love hearing that. Love
Actually,
hearing
it's a
that.
different take. It's a different angle from what I've heard before.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't stop thinking
yes.
about Terry Coles,
Oh, yeah.
a relationship counsellor we
Boundary Boss, American.
coach. Yeah,
She's
in Boundary
brilliant.
Boss, she's really well known. And she talks about her guy, like, she meets him in a bar. It's like, yeah, have you done the work?
Yeah.
The what? The work. Have you done the work on yourself? And he was like, yeah, well, how many years? And she wasn't interested, was she?
No, well, she
Unless
said
he'd done so many.
20 years,
Yeah.
and it was quite funny. He said,
20.
because he's going, no, I have done the work, and then she's going, how much work?
Yeah.
confronting.
Exactly.
Yeah, very
But
confronting.
as it turns
but I
out,
get
they're now
it.
married. And
Yeah,
they've
they're
been married
happy.
for about 30 years or something like
But she
that.
said not
But it was
interested
like-
otherwise.
Yeah.
So she's got really harsh boundaries. boundary, which is great. Like you've got to have that level of, this is where I draw the line. I'm willing to work with you, but not for you. And that there's a very big difference when you've got to be someone
Work with you,
not for you.
not for you. Can you
So
break
I'll work
that
with
down?
you if you're working through your stuff and you have done 20 years of work. Because do you ever stop working on your stuff? Like I feel like
We're
there's
work
not-
in progress till we
Right,
die.
always.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
fitness,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, or we
100%.
go, we're a
Yeah.
student of life.
True.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You never know
Yeah.
everything. Till you
So
know,
how
stop.
can you, like, to say, have you done the work almost sounds like there's a finish line. Like, okay, you've done the work, now I'll date you.
True, that's a very good
Yes,
point.
yeah.
Right. So for me, that's a little bit absolute. Like, it's like, well, if you haven't done the work, I can't be with you.
No, yes.
But there's so much more work to do.
That's right.
We have different cycles in life. We were just talking about. You go through like family death, like parents, caring for them, grandchildren. Like different cycles bring up different things. So you can't ever have done all the work. The better question might be, do you work on yourself? Have you been interested in doing the work? What type of work have you done? Get curious. And if they don't have that dialogue, then maybe that's your boundary, is that you're not curious enough to be with someone like me. Because I'm really curious about why I show up like this, or why you trigger me in this area, or why I do that for you, or why your ex did that. Like, you've got to be curious. So you never, ever stop evolving.
And I like
I
also
love
when
that.
you said about the client who hadn't dated for 8 years and was sort of like then a bit hesitant. But I like that you actually said sort of like, no, go for it.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, you can always just try, and if it doesn't work out, or that's when you can sort of test the ground then of going, oh, look, no, it's not going to
Yeah.
work. But I think if you're always too afraid, like you're sort of saying, open the door,
Yeah.
take a step.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have
Be
to be a little
brave.
bit courageous.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it's a life experience.
It's
isn't
true.
it?
I call it
Yeah.
data. I go,
Yeah,
I say
love
to my
that.
clients,
Life data,
go
love
out
it.
and get some
Yes.
data. It's like
Yeah.
market research.
Yeah.
Like what works for you, what doesn't, what do you like, what don't you like, particularly if you're going into relationships after having a marriage.
Yeah.
Right, because there's hesitancy around that. It's like we've been burnt, we've, maybe got wounds around it. And so although we're a little bit more educated around relationships and pain, we can also be a bit hesitant and cautious. But really, we've got so much data that we can make the next one so much better.
Yes.
Rather
Well, you
than
hope,
not be
yeah.
in it. We can't control how the other person shows up.
No.
Right?
Well, my
yeah.
question to
ultimately.
you is, interesting talking about how this all plays out in a relationship, but, what about someone that goes continually into different relationships, so they're taking the same baggage with them
Yep.
every time, and they're 100% not aware of it, and they're pushing against the other person because they're wrong, I'm right syndrome. Well, how do you resolve something like that?
You don't be with them.
No, the actual person that's carrying that heavy weight.
Well, do they,
Like,
do they
how
see
do
it
you-
as a heavy weight,
how-
though, Di? Because
What's that?
if you're saying they don't notice it, they
But it
have
must
no
be
acknowledgement.
painful because they're going from one relationship to the other.
Well, that's an assumption.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
we can't assume they're in pain because they...
No, true,
relationships
and
are-
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the weight of that baggage of God, that's another relationship that's just fallen, through my hands.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
questioning.
not everyone questions it.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
So
They
the
don't.
consciousness level of that
Yes.
may not impact that person the same way it would impact you because your value around relationships is greater than theirs.
Wow, this is you're really opening a window here that
I-
I've never
I-
looked at before.
I know, I
Yeah.
love this
Yeah.
because I see exactly
Yeah.
where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
it's
there, 'cause to me,
fascinating.
we all know ones that go
Yeah.
from one to the other, and serial monogamists, they've always
Yeah.
got one or one in the wings
Yeah.
until things are settled,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
the next one goes
Boom.
on, and that's boom, and that's yay,
Literally.
exactly, and that's how it goes. But
Yeah.
I don't think that they suffer too much pain
No.
because that's how they operate.
No,
That's
yeah.
how they go. You and I or someone else might sort of feel that way or go, reflect, look back on things. It's sort of like, no. And
I just
that's-
think you can deflect for so long.
You can,
Until
but that is for someone that has a level
some-
of consciousness that understands that they are deflecting. And if they don't realise it, they have no impact.
Do you think some of them do eventually? Like it all comes like, oh my God, that's 10 relationships in 2 years. What is going on here? Do you think, or do you think they live and die with it?
Sometimes they do, yeah.
What percentage would you say would open up and go, oh, I've got to deal with this?
Oh, that's really hard. But it could
Ballpark.
be maybe 20% of them.
Wow.
And see, that doesn't surprise. Isn't it funny how we're
It's
different
incredible.
too, Di?
No, I'm just
Because
actually just
Yeah.
curious.
it doesn't
It's
surprise
fascinating.
me because everyone is so different, and that's their issue. And I think the longer I live, and I'm learning every day, is.
Yeah.
I would assume someone used to think, why wouldn't they feel this way because I do?
Right.
But now I've had to
Yes.
sort of like when they go radical acceptance, I have to have now gone, I accept that this is how they function.
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
And that's just, everyone's so different.
Yeah.
And
they're happy being that way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Di,
Yeah,
they are.
it's actually
what we're
remarkable.
doing- What
They
we're
are,
doing,
yes.
we're taking the map of our world, the way
Yeah.
we do love, the way we do relationships, and putting it on theirs and go, well, that doesn't look right. Aren't you in pain? No.
Or you're causing me pain.
Yes. But
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
They can't. If they don't understand that that is painful, because they have no pain associated to that behaviour, they're going to have no empathy around it.
And is that under the umbrella of a bit of narcissism as well? Because was that one of the traits? Because that's sort of something we do have to sort of talk about that. Because
We sort of do. It's thrown
is
around like,
is
seriously,
it
like a
too
tossed
much?
salad
I know,
these days.
exactly.
I agree with you.
Like,
I get sick of hearing it.
Everyone's
Yeah.
ex is an arsehole.
You know,
It's so
exactly.
true,
I know,
and it's
yes,
wrong
exactly.
because
If
there
I
are
had to
actual
scan my
Exactly,
DMs
yes.
and like,
Do you know what?
put
I
one word
agree
in,
with that.
I think that would be like
Yeah.
the word
Like
that
a
comes up the
salad.
most.
Yeah, exactly.
Tossed
But I
salad.
agree with
But
you.
there are percentages that there definitely
Definitely
are.
narcissists.
Or,
Oh, God, yeah.
But, you know,
We've seen them.
narcissism is a psychological disorder. It's a personality disorder. It's not, hey, he was avoidant. And because avoidance can look like narcissism. Like, I'm not interested in the label. I'm interested in the pattern. I'm interested in what they do repeatedly. I'm interested in the damage that it causes in the relationship or to the person. It's not the label. The label doesn't matter. It's more about the impact to the other person.
I like the book with Dr. Rumani.
Amazing.
She's amazing, that Dr. Rumani, who specialises in the narcissism.
Incredible.
Too. I think it's like
What,
it's not you or something.
Yes, I've read
that one too.
Yeah.
But also, she also says the different. I think it's the deep techniques of. I think it stands for don't defend, because like people try and get into maybe have an argument with someone who's got those really strong
traits.
narcissism traits. They're going, you're not going to
Why
win.
bother, yeah.
Or why? Because it's sort of kind of like fuel for them, and it's like it's best to. Is it the grey rock syndrome or grey?
It's
would you say?
exhausting when it is exhausting when you're with a character like that, because you can beg and scream and cry and give everything you want, and you're still not going to get the result that you're after. It falls on deaf ears.
Yes.
And we'll use quite a stereotypical type of scenario. The male's a narcissist and the female's almost like on the receiving end. And she is like forever. She becomes so depleted in that relationship because she just is given everything and is consistently just shut down or neglected, or he, stonewalls or is avoidant and doesn't go there and flips the narrative that it's her fault. And over time, there's nothing left of this woman, actually, at all. She hasn't had a voice. No matter what she said, doesn't work. Her going back into the dating game after a scenario like that's really difficult. She's got a lot of building to do.
Yeah. Well, she's got to do a bit of work on herself in that case because it's washed over her.
Start with two often traits of at the very start. It's the fairy tale. It's the love bombing. It's the presence. It's the you're the most incredible person in the world. Getting you in. And then it's that slow sort of thing there, and at the end, when it is sort of like over,
what happened?
what do you say to rebuild? How do you get someone who comes to you? What do you suggest for sort of people out there to rebuild, or finding that within yourself, like I was sort of saying before, working on yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you've probably got to understand how the pattern started. Like, what we've got to remember is, like, chemistry is not intimacy.
Yes.
And when you are love bombed, it is like chemistry, and what happens is you get access to that feeling really quickly, and it's really addictive. Like, you're like feeling chosen immediately, and you're like, oh my god, like I'm so chosen, like this is
You're
great.
the queen.
Yeah, like, this guy's like totally into me, just because you've got chemistry or you feel chosen, it doesn't mean they can love you well. That does not. So chemistry does not equal intimacy at all. And in a long-term relationship, what you're after is not chemistry, you're after intimacy. Because that's what gets you through. You're not having a conversation where you say, we want to be together forever. The conversation should sound like, we want to be able to connect forever. because there's no point living together and having no connection.
Makes sense.
So let's
doesn't
unpack.
it?
You mentioned the word intimacy. Let's talk about intimacy and the importance of that in relationships.
Okay.
Long
And then
term,
we'll come
short
back to your
term,
next
or,
exactly.
or
Yeah,
otherwise.
let's do that.
Yes.
So, repeat that.
Intimacy. You mentioned intimacy
Yeah.
in respect to long-term relationships, new relationships. Just how important is intimacy?
Really important. It's the one thing that separates you from being friends, because different level of intimacy in different relationships. Correct? Would you say that you two have a level of intimacy? You share things that probably other people don't have, and you've seen each other naked, and you can just do things that you don't do with other friends. There's different levels of intimacy. But in a relationship, intimacy is not just sexual interaction. It's communicating. It's being able to hold space when someone's not doing well. It's listening. It's not being defensive. It's not feeling criticised when you're getting feedback. It's, just showing up, doing the work together, relying on each other when you need them. It's that's intimacy, because intimacy needs safety, and you can't be intimate with someone if you don't feel safe.
Oh, you're giving pearls. These are just all gold, aren't
I'm
they?
actually just swallowing all that down. That's
Yeah.
just because as soon as you mention intimacy, it's touch, a cuddle, a kiss. It
not
doesn't
that.
necessarily sex.
Yeah, no, because
But-
how can you have touch and cuddling when you feel unsafe?
And not connected, yeah. Well, unsafe's one thing, but feeling connected's another,
Yeah.
as I just said, simple things like a kiss or a cuddle or something like that. How important is that,
Physical
in a
touch.
relationship?
For some people, depending on your love language,
Yeah.
of course.
Yes.
For some people, it's everything. If I
Right.
don't feel touched at least a few times a day, I
Yeah.
don't feel loved. If
Yes.
their love language is physical touch,
Yes.
you need to know that. If your partner's love language is physical touch, you need to give your partner that.
Right.
And so what people don't understand about the love languages is that when they go off and do the assessment and they get their love language, you need to share it with your partner, because that is the map to how they access your heart. That's how you need to be loved.
It's interesting because everyone's
Love
got a
that.
different
Yeah.
love
That was
language, or
beautiful.
you swing between different ones too, don't you?
Yeah, well, obviously we've got a ultimately we want it all, right?
Yeah.
Physical
Yeah,
touch,
yeah,
gifts,
yeah.
like acts of
Yeah.
service, we want all of that. But some of us more so than others, right?
Yes.
So I've got some clients, they're like, I don't care if he buys me a gift, but he's a gift giver. I want him to make me a cup of tea. That means so
Right.
much more to me.
Right.
Right?
I so
But
get that.
His love language
Yeah.
is, so he likes gifts
Yeah.
and she doesn't. But he's
Yeah.
loving her how he needs to be loved, not how she needs to be loved. So she wants acts of services and he wants gifts. So what we end up doing, we default to our own love language when we don't know what our partner needs. Okay? So if we just say we're someone that likes physical touch, we are constantly wanting to touch our partner, but they're like, I need words of affirmation. You've got to tell me every day that you love me, or compliment me, or notice something about what I'm doing. So you really got to know the map to your partner's heart. And the only way to do that is work out what their love language is and do it.
And I like when you also you said that being safe as well, because I think that does roll into it, because it might be your language of touch, but if you're not feeling safe or they've let you down, all of a sudden then sometimes you might want to touch them, or you might, or vice versa. You have to have all those things, I think, to set into place to make that feel
And I
that
think
way.
it's important to talk about the word safety, because we don't talk about safety automatically. Sometimes people go safety as in physical safety, not physical harm.
First thing you think of,
is like violence.
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking
That is
initially.
not what we're talking
No,
about
that's
when
right.
we're talking
No.
about feeling safe.
Yeah.
Feeling safe is being able to say something without having to have a consequence of defensiveness.
Yes, right.
There's a safety in
They've
that.
got your
There's a
back,
big safety in that.
Yeah.
because some people
Yeah.
mightn't have your back in
That's a
situations.
pattern probably from childhood that you weren't
Absolutely.
given that sort of love or nurturing, and you're needing it. And it's like, but all of these are out there, and it's fascinating to hear this. But at the end of the day, how do we overcome these issues? Is conversation about this issue. Now, for example, you talk about the woman that goes, he buys me gifts, but I just want him to make a cup of tea. Does she sit down with him and tell him that? Like, how do you overcome this? Is conversation
communication.
everything?
Yeah. Conversation is everything, because it's the window into the other person's world. You can't make assumptions. You can't just assume they feel loved just because you're doing it. Because if your actions don't land, they're not feeling loved. Doesn't matter how many times you do it. You have to get feedback. If you don't get feedback, you could be missing the mark the whole time and not even know.
Wow.
I think that's so good. And it's like communication, and it's also what you're saying, it's connection.
Yeah.
Because that's what connection is. You know, you can talk to somebody, but if they're not listening, then it's not it's not sort of a connection.
It's so true, Nicola.
Yeah.
So it's all
So
those
true.
things to make it up. So
You're so right. But
yeah.
that was a great example. That he buys me all the prezzies.
Mm.
I just want him to just come and sit on my lap with a cup
Yeah.
of tea sort of thing.
Yeah,
right,
something
with
like that. Or I want him just to
put
tell
my
me how he
blankie.
feels.
Yeah.
Right,
wanna
yes.
hear
Yes.
I want to text in the day. I might not hear from him all day, but I'll get a gift once a week. You know. And
But what if she's
feeling
afraid to say to him because he's giving his love with his another gift?
Yeah.
How do you approach that? Because you're going to hurt him.
Well, you need to be okay with hurting your partner's feelings, actually.
Yeah.
That's part of the feedback.
Yeah.
And you've got to have enough emotional capacity to be able to sit in feeling uncomfortable but doing something about it. Otherwise, it doesn't change. And then you become
it's repetitive.
disconnected. So I would be, if someone said to me, I'm really fearful of sitting down with my partner to tell him that this isn't landing for me, that's a red flag. Because you shouldn't be fearful to be able to sit down and tell your partner anything.
I think I told my boyfriend too much. I give him too much
Oversharing,
feedback.
oversharing.
Tell you love
Well,
it.
he must
yeah.
be pretty good to be able to sit through
I'm
too much
sure he
feedback.
puts earplugs in. Not me.
He's learnt the art of the nod, yes, honey.
Yeah, I love that. I'm sure. Anything
Sure,
you
honey,
want.
whatever you want.
Not a problem. Would you like a cup of tea? Oh, okay. We can't let anyone go anywhere unless we bring up dating on the apps.
Yeah.
Like, where do you start? I mean, firstly, do you think that it's got to the point now where people are just flicking and they've lost interest in who and what they're after and who they are because it's just like, oh yeah, I do this every day. It's just boring. It's like getting a bus. As opposed to, remember the old days? We used to go to a
the good
bar or
old days.
whatever and you'd feel it. You'd
This
see them and you'd
generation
feel
is like
it.
missing out, aren't they?
So
the younger
talk to
ones.
us about the dating apps and
Look,
your
they
thoughts on
can
that.
work. I mean, you guys
Yes.
know they can work.
Mm, yeah.
They have worked.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. First one.
First
I know.
swipe, ding.
I know.
And I argued with Nicola and said, I don't know how to do this stupid
I know,
swipe stuff
she
because I didn't want to
wasn't
go
gonna
on
do
That
it.
was why it worked for you.
Yeah.
Because your
Interesting.
attachment to the way that you used the app was like very blasé. You weren't attached to the outcome.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, I suppose you weren't going to go on it. That's
It's
just
fine.
right.
You weren't
Yeah.
going on to like find the husband. You were like, let's have a
No.
play, right?
Yeah, I'd been in a 37-year marriage. I didn't know what I
And
was
we just
after.
wanted to get out
you know.
there, really.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
just great. And then bingo, the
But
first
Nicola
one.
was like, oh, for God's
was going-
sake, press right. I said, is it right that way or right that? She's like, oh. And
I loved it.
we never argue, but she's walked off. I'm like, great, now I've got to do this.
I just said, I just
Now I've got to do it myself.
I know,
Yeah,
this is
I'm
going,
on
it doesn't
my
work,
own.
and for this, I
I
feel
was terrified.
She said, I'm better than this, and then I said, you know what? If you don't, I said, don't go on it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just.
It's cool.
And so it was perfect. So I walked away. And did
and
my
I went,
own
oh
thing.
no, she's
But
gone.
in her own private space without anyone else there,
Yeah.
she's gone.
One
From
swipe.
deleting the app, she brings it back on again, and the next minute she goes, "I'm going on a date."
She's still on the date.
It was very funny.
And it
Sorry.
was the one and only, guys. So that's
That was an interlude, but
that's
sorry.
been successful,
Yeah.
So far,
so
it's been
far.
good. Yeah, he's
she met him
lovely.
the
I
other
didn't see
night.
it.
Yeah.
Super lovely.
He's lovely, yeah.
So I guess the dating apps gives us access. We've got so much access everywhere we go. Everything is immediate now. The thing is that we
Right.
have access to so many things, and sometimes too many choices you don't actually end up choosing. It's like, some
agree.
people can't even choose what they're eating for dinner, and you want
gets
them to choose,
boring.
like
It's
a
true.
person to date out of like
Yes.
thousands of people that are matching.
Yes.
So there's
so
a lot.
true.
So it's like there's a lot to choose from. The thing is that people have lost clarity. What do they want?
Good word, love that.
Clarity. Like what are you looking for?
Yeah, right.
Really, are you just doing it because it's the thing to do, like
Yeah.
the flavour of the month,
Yeah.
or are you really intentionally looking to date? And I think that's one thing. The other thing is that we have got very good at being online, but we haven't improved in the way that we haven't improved in our emotional maturity. So I think we've become lazy almost, that there's a lot of apps and AI that can do a lot of things for us over time.
Yeah.
And AI is coming into dating. I mean, they're using it on the apps, they're using it to reply, they're using it to set up like profiles and things like that. So
More choice.
yeah,
More
You don't want to
distraction.
date a fake person with this, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll get a
robot.
robot in
I
there.
mean, you hear those things.
Come
as
over
well.
here, honey.
And I have been, with the you're saying, with the dating apps, and I think, like it's a good option for some, and I guess it's not the only option, but I think it's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But with some of those ones from dating apps too, there's been these Netflix series of, and then there's scammers out there.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that Love Con Revenge. I don't know whether you've
I
seen
haven't
that
seen
one.
it, no.
It's brilliant. It's shocking, but it's true. The ones that they've been scammed, but anyhow they've come back, and it's like a revenge.
Scammed as in love, or scammed as
Scammed
in...
and
as
then
in-
as well,
Like the
they've
relationship, and then they've taken money.
and they've taken money.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I've got a
And
client
they're good
at
at
the
it.
moment.
I'd have revenge if that
I've got a
happened.
client at the moment, the same thing.
No,
Oh,
very,
wow.
very good. She should. This show is it's actually excellent.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, and anyhow, so they actually then get like a private detective and the whole thing. And some of them gone behind bars. Like they actually get it's a real show. It really is good.
It's
But
juicy.
it is people who have the fake profiles, or there's professional con men and women
Absolutely.
around that can do it, and they literally go. That's their career.
Yeah.
And
Or they do it in Africa too. Also,
Some
they're sitting in
do.
Nigeria and
Yeah.
going, "I
Yeah,
love
they do
you,
it
I
from
love you.
everywhere.
Send me money."
Yeah.
Really?
But there's shows, and there's other different ways too with these like Netflix shows. Like, have you seen that one, Later Daters?
No, am I missing?
I need to get on
All
to
of them. Me too. I'm going. What am I
That's
missing
the
out
American
on?
busy
one.
working in
It's
the
a
real
bit
world.
like exactly.
Seriously.
It's not like, say, The Bachelor. We've got the one and then the 20 girls, or vice versa or whatever. But it's sort of like it's older, from I think say 55 plus or 50, mid-age sort of plus, and the relationships that work and others don't, but they get into their lives and film it. It's a really nice one to see, and some are quite elderly as well. And,
What's it on?
And it can be. I think it's a Netflix one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Series.
Yeah, series, and that's called Later Daters. But this one, that Love Con Revenge, is really
That
quite
sounds
good
interesting.
because it's
Yeah.
from some of those ones, because there are, unfortunately, when you're saying with AI,
shocking.
there's some beautiful people you can meet and have real relationships and marriages and whatever. But there's scammers and there's fake profiles out there.
Unbelievable.
And
I had no
So the
idea.
way you get
Shows you
through
how
that,
naive
Nicola, is
I
that
am
you
with
have a
that.
7-day, like you almost have like a 7-day rule. Like if we haven't met in real life between 7 and 21
Yes.
days,
Yeah.
like
See you
you
later.
just end up being pen pals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finger
So,
pals.
Yeah, you're just like online. So
Yeah.
if you want to move into the real world, you've got to bring it offline into the real world. So 21 days max.
Which is better, bios from Instagram or
Doesn't matter where it's
or
from.
apps?
You've got to be able to be in person in real life with that, like that interaction.
Because there's so many
Right.
different ways. People slip into their DMs.
Yeah, and they go,
there's
"Oh yeah, let's
safety.
catch up.
There's
Maybe a
safety
coffee."
behind the screen.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And it's
Do you want to consolidate this or see you later? Yeah, like
and
get
that's
it.
where you sort of, if you're happy to be behind the screen for a bit and just like the attention rather than the intention, right? So attention doesn't mean intention. It's just
Yes.
attention. If you just want the attention, stay on the screen. But if your intention is to date, you have to come off the screen.
Yeah.
You have to go into real life.
And do you think it's pretty good
Interesting.
to actually just be honest? You can get burnt, but also be honest, going, look, actually, then I'm after a serious relationship. Or, you know what, I'm just out here, maybe I've come from a long-term marriage. I just now want to have some fun and date. And also, check what, kiss a few frogs.
Absolutely,
And
before you
learn
get to the friends.
before
So
you get to
true.
one, have a bit of
agree.
fun,
Yeah.
spice it
Yeah.
up. You're in the one relationship forever.
Yeah.
But be honest about it as
Yeah.
well.
But that's
Yeah.
data, isn't it? The
It is
frogs are the
data.
data.
It's so true.
Yes, yeah.
It's like, I'll kiss this frog and that's that data and that's a piece of that's all data.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you're moving towards what it is exactly that you want. Sometimes you don't know it after being in a relationship for long. You've lost yourself. You've had one partner for a very long time. You've only had experience with that interaction. So you come out and you get some more data.
And is there any tips for people, say, listening and, their relationship's broken up or their, and let alone a heartache's another story, because that's also a difficult thing for everybody who's gone through it at some stage. But, if you think, I'm going to start again, or should I get out there, what would you say is the best way of doing it?
I think you're in a position of power once you've come out of a relationship and you're starting again.
It's
In what
great to
in what
hear.
respect?
Well, because a lot of the time you come out of a relationship and you think you're broken or
it's
you
victim.
can't, whether it's victim or it's like, you're in a fear of, I couldn't do that again.
Yes.
But like I said before, if you are you've gone through a breakup and you're in this new position of that chapter's finished and now I've got access to a new chapter, you get to build it with more information and more data. So actually you're in a position of power, not weakness.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's such a positive
Not
thing.
for a lot of people, though. A lot of people wouldn't see it that way.
No, because it's a mindset shift.
It's a
Yeah,
mindset,
totally,
yeah.
100%.
So it's good to
So let's
listen to
talk
this.
about that.
Yeah.
If the mindset is like girlfriends at lunch, oh, you're going to be fabulous, you're going to meet someone, everything's going to be great, and they're like sitting there going, hell, who do you think you guys are?
Yeah, just because
I'm
you've got
sitting
it, that's
here.
for you,
Yeah,
that's not for me.
yeah, they're holding that
Yeah.
negative energy.
Yeah, and some people need to sit there for a bit.
Yeah.
So they can process
Lick their
how,
wounds.
like,
Yeah. And I think that's
okay.
really good advice. Like, because that's what I'm searching out, trying to search for here, is advice for someone that's sitting in that.
Yeah, sometimes they need to.
That negative zone
well, you
of.
think that negative zone could be the result of the fight in the relationship to keep it. That could be their nervous system going, I'm spent.
Yes.
I'm really
Yes.
spent. I don't have
It's a
any
good one.
energy left. I don't have fight in me for another relationship. But they're just judging the next relationship based on the fight that they've come out of.
Yes.
The next one might not even actually be a fight. Could be in flow.
Ooh.
So easy.
Yeah.
Right? So they need to probably sit there a little bit. Not everyone has the mindset to be able to have this shift of like, oh, well, a big F you, I'm doing life still. Like that takes a process. And we have to give ourselves permission to feel the feels. And if we don't, they'll stay around a lot longer.
You know what? You nailed it. It's imperative to feel it. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is time alone.
Yeah.
And just sitting in it.
And then
Both
what's-
Nicola and I have done
what's
it.
the step then
And
to get
I did
you
3.5
out of it?
years of it.
Like some people could
Yeah.
be sitting there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
What's the thing to curb it round? Like if because some people can just go, no, I'm just sort of sitting in here.
And they live and die like that. They're bitter. They live in bitterness
Yes,
and they die in bitterness, and
Yes.
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, so,
it
it'd be
is.
So
good to
you're
hear
right.
some tools.
I agree that.
Because I love
I
it
like
going. It's like if you can, and I'd love to hear it from you, the expert here. It's all a mind shift
It
because
is.
you really are. You are so much more powerful,
Absolutely.
and that you also
it's
because
true.
you've survived. You've survived that. You've learnt from that, and you've gained wisdom from that. And every year, every day, you become in many ways more powerful from the hurt, and also that you can get over a hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not, you just think it's gonna
Even
be the
though
end of
you
the
think in the
world.
thick of it, there's no way I can ever get over
or
this.
no one will ever love me like that
Yeah,
again, or this
yeah.
sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas really, it's kind of exciting
What
when
do
you
we
don't
say?
even
New
know what's out
chapter, she
there.
said.
Yeah.
Powerful. I love how you. But how do you turn someone
I
else's
love that.
head around?
Is that a new station?
I think it is.
Or is that the turning
Turn
the
that-
volume up?
turn that up.
I think it's turning the
yeah.
It's
volume
a
up.
new belief, actually. It's the belief that keeps you stuck. You believe that relationship meant this.
Yes.
You believe the breakup meant this about you.
Yeah.
I believe that dating, it's all belief.
Yeah.
And it takes literally 2 seconds to change a belief.
Oh,
That's
so
easier
good.
said than done.
Oh, well, if you are willing to look at your limiting, because they're all limiting.
Limiting
Because I know
beliefs.
from the age of 2 to 11, I believed in Santa Claus. And the minute I was told he wasn't real, I changed my belief like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's how quickly we can change
I
our
think
beliefs.
that's so true.
But for somebody that's out there that is, we were just saying, living and breathing the bitterness, and they
What do
can't.
they believe?
yeah.
But that's all great, and you say it's like the turn of a
can
die
be.
can change.
be.
But for somebody it's ingrained in them, it's not that easy.
No, because they have a resistance. They don't want to let go of their belief. They're so attached to that.
Correct. Yes.
Because that's their safety
Yeah.
bit,
Correct.
sort of feeling that way.
Absolutely.
They feel safe.
What's their narrative?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I it's
Victimhood
funny how
too.
you are different, but I always say, it's funny, I'm really vibing the thing there because I think it is sometimes, and I know exactly, and it's so good for you to say that, Dive, you know they're going to be staying in there.
Yeah.
But
I know some people that are.
but it truly is like going, actually, I'm going to decide that's enough. I'm not going, and sometimes it can just
It's
be
a
that
starting
one-
point.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
need to be able to.
Some people have
Can it be
concrete.
heavy or
You
said,
can't even
flick it?
influence them to get there.
No.
So what was
It's
that?
you can't influence them to get to, hey, let's just change the belief. They need to get there.
Yes.
Correct.
They need
Don't
to sit
rescue.
in it. You can't rescue. They need to be able to take the initiative and responsibility for their change. They need to feel that pain of that story needs to far outweigh the fear of what could happen. Right? The pain of their story keeps them anchored and safe. And they don't have to think about the what if. What if I get hurt again? Because if they're in that story, they don't have to take any risks. It's safety, regardless if it's good for them or not. And so they will stay in the story as long as that feels more comfortable than the next, what they think could happen.
And if they can't do themselves, Nicola and I are great believers that therapy is just a dream, going to a psychologist,
and, people
relationship
come to
psychologist.
therapy. It's
just
something's
amazing.
Wrong.
But it can just
How can I
help you to flick that switch,
just one conversation.
Yeah.
Like it could be, some people come in and see me and literally have one session. They're like, okay, see ya. And I don't see them for 12 months.
Right.
They just need a little bit of a shift.
Or a shake.
A shake sometimes.
Yeah.
More of a shift. But like just to be able to understand what their belief is doing for them. And they usually come and seek out help when they're looking for a new map. They just don't know how to get it.
Yes.
Okay, so they're sort of ready. They sometimes show a little bit of resistance, but they're starting to get curious of what else life could be like. And then when you show them that they got access to the map, then they're jumping on the new map.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
and
it.
what do you think also now, a bit like with the trend of people sort of like now choosing to, they might date, whatever, but ultimately choosing to, if you've been married and you've had different relationships going, actually, I think I'm going to choose to be single for a while.
Yeah.
And this doesn't seem to be a stigma about it, or it's like, it used to be a stigma if you got
Yes,
divorced, a divorcee
absolutely.
back in the day and all this sort of stuff. And now it seems to be more and more people going, actually, I'm choosing, at least, might be open to something, choosing to be single right now and focusing on other things.
Yeah. Our world is busy enough for us to be able to get permission to do that socially.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if you think 40 odd years ago, if our mother turned around and said, "I'm choosing to be single," like people
It'd
would
be
think she's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
isn't
don't
that
you need a
how
husband
amazing
and don't
that
you need a
is?
home?
So true.
And there's some people
I
think
agree.
You need a woman.
Send her
in your-
off to a
you
mental
need a woman
asylum.
to look after you, or you need a man in your life, or you need a
Yes.
woman in your life.
Yeah, to
Whereas now
support
some
you.
people are going, that's all sort of outdated
Yeah.
beliefs now, and I think it's kind of nice that there's
I
different
think
ways of...
whatever sets your heart on fire.
Everyone's different. I'm still quite a traditionalist in relationships. I feel like that still works, and it always did for a reason. We just have a lot of moving parts right now. But ultimately, most women want to feel safe in a relationship and feel protected in some form. We're not looking at big masculine, macho sort of masculine. Some people want that. But there's a safety that a man can bring to the table in a relationship, and then there's a softness that a woman can bring to the table for the man. And I really love that, because that always works. It brings the best out of both of them.
Yeah, so what are then I was going to say that's then the tips, but what other tips would you say make a really good relationship? Whether it's a long-term one, people who are listening now are in a long-term one and maybe the spice is out, or maybe the spice is still there. But what secrets or what sort of things do you see that really make a successful relationship? And I know they're all different and varied.
Your value systems have to match.
Value systems.
100%, because they outdate any form of chemistry. Right, you don't check your values in the first few dates. You're just feeling great.
Yeah.
So you've really got to be aligned. And that's where those conversations when you're talking about the boundaries come in, maybe after the third date. Like if you really want to learn long-term relationship, by the third date, you're probably sitting down and going, right, what do you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to do that, because otherwise what happens if you get to the third date and you want children and she doesn't? And I'm seeing this a lot. A lot of women are saying that are coming to see me, they don't want children. And the men are like, she doesn't want kids. And they can't understand it, and they're like, well, I can't be with her if she doesn't want kids because I want children.
Absolutely.
And it works both ways, but I am seeing
does.
there's been a little bit of a change in a clinic setting where a lot of women are choosing not to.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yes.
But that relationship conversation should have happened early on.
Yes.
Not 9 years down the track.
Yeah.
Because now they're 9 years on. She's like, no, but I still
Or they're
don't
doing
want
it on
kids.
their own, choosing to have a child.
Yeah. How the world's
So
changed.
values, children, faith, lifestyle, the way the family would be run. If you've already had kids and you're on a second relationship, like, what does that look like? Is freedom higher value? Do you want to just be able to pick up and go overseas whenever you want? Is financial freedom important? Are you able to give that? Are you able to contribute? Values are very important. Communication, obviously, the ability to sit in discomfort. And when I say communication, it's not being great with words, at least being great to be able to sit in what's comfortable and uncomfortable.
And how do you have those hard conversations? If there's sort of something with somebody and you want to say something and they don't want to talk about it, going, oh, look, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to fight. And you might be sort of saying, I don't want to fight either. But this is
But I
important
need to bring
me.
it to the fore.
Yeah. What's the best ways of communicating?
So the best way to do that is never catch them off guard.
Right.
You don't just bring up something that's important like that just passing by.
Yeah.
You've got to
Washing
set them up
up.
for it.
Right.
Honey, you know we were talking about that the other week. You didn't want to talk about it. Can we set up some time on Friday after work to sit down and talk about it? It's really important. You've already given them time to set them up for the conversation, to think about the topic so they're not overwhelmed, and you'll sit down a little bit like a business meeting, come with your notes, sit down in front of each other and don't get off track. Talk about the issue, not everything that happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Stay on track. What is the problem? Always come back to the problem. Not the person, not what his mother did, not what the neighbour said. Literally, what is bothering you? And just bring it to the table, but set them up for success, not failure. If you're ringing them while they're at work and they're in a high stress role or they're busy and you want to know why he said something last week and how you were offended, it's not the right time.
That's really great advice, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
Good
everything
to
you've
hear
said.
it. Yeah.
I just
Everything.
want to ask everything. If in a relationship, where I'm just intrigued to know whether it's worth punching in and making this work or end. Like that's a big call. But what are the things to sort of the little things that one should be really aware of?
There's a difference between challenges in a relationship and toxic relationships. And a toxic relationship becomes toxic for your body. If your body is showing you signs that you are unwell while you're in a relationship and you keep punching on thinking, I've got to fight for this, and your body is checking out digestive, headaches, losing hair, weight gain, weight loss, eyesight, diminishing. Like if your body is like, get out, and you are still saying there, that's a get out type of conversation.
Isn't that good to say, like the body talks and it really does. It's sort of like listen and to sit in it. But what do you do if you kind of know that and you're in a situation and it's not easy to get out? Because, you've got your children and you've got all this and financial and all this sort of stuff. And it's overwhelming that you sometimes might sort of think, well, look,
I'll hang in here.
I'll hang in there.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It's not like,
And most women do.
That's it.
They
Most
do,
women
don't
do.
they? Yeah.
Most women
particularly with children,
hang in like they really get to the point where they can't anymore.
That's it.
Like
Yes.
it's every drop, like they just every string is just like,
Yeah.
and it's just like you're hanging.
Commitment.
And you're like, I really can't do it anymore until you checked out. And you stay in relationships a lot longer than you probably should have.
Yes.
Right.
Because you've checked out a year ago or 2 years ago or 6 months ago and you've just stayed just in case, or it could work, or what about the kids or the finances? How do I do this? But you do get to a point, regardless of how long you stay there, where you start to go, I can't do it anymore. It's impacting everything.
And that's the checkout time.
That is, well, you've probably already checked out.
You've checked out, but as in
now
severing.
it's like a physical checkout.
Right.
I need to remove my body from this situation.
Yeah.
And most women, by the time they get to that, if the relationship hasn't been good for them, their body has really copped the brunt of the relationship.
It's really interesting angle, isn't it?
And would you
The
say
body.
also during that time when you've got men or women and they kind of know that and going, I can't get out right now, but I just know I need to, but maybe for themselves go and get that support going. And so it gives them the stepping stones to know right now I feel I can't.
Yep.
I haven't got the emotional strength to do it, and I've got all this time here, or my parents are sick and I've got all this and all these other factors. But this is sort of like, when you've tried everything and in that time get that sort of support. And I love it when you say that a lot when they've been there for that long, once then they actually have, then then really it's like a freedom.
Well, that's
because
what the
that's the
breakup is,
gift.
right? So
Yeah.
you can go from grief
Yes.
the loss or the change or whatever it is, a loss of identity, who you are in the relationship.
That's a big one as well, isn't it? Loss of identity. You did it on your great podcast, Between the Sheets. Everyone, listen to that. I listened to that one too, and it's such a great one.
Yeah, you're attached to the idea, or attached to the idea of what the future was going to be.
Yep.
So there's this real grief around the relationship, regardless of how long you're in the relationship.
Yeah.
You could be in a relationship for 3 months, 4 years.
Yes.
And the idea
massive.
of the relationship was like, that was what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
This was going to be us. We were going to live here, and it
Of
was
course,
gonna,
idealistic,
you become
which is
attached to the fantasy.
Yeah.
So there's grief in letting go of a relationship, whether it's the fantasy or what it was. But there is also freedom attached. And emotional maturity gives you the access to both realities of grief and freedom at the same time. You can have both. They can both coexist. But you've got to notice the freedom in the grief. And not everyone can. They sit in the grief first before they notice, I feel like I can make my own decision here without having to walk on eggshells or, contemplate what someone else will say or how they'll react. Like, there is a freedom in making a decision for self.
There is
there's a strength, isn't it?
Absolute
That's start
freedom,
building.
and I think the strength is right.
Yeah.
It's also it's like nearly a pat on your back or sort of something for yourself to go, I've got through sort of something which I mightn't have thought I could have got through, and then you've gained different strengths, from that.
Yeah.
So
people do come to see someone like myself when they are going through when the relationship's not working, and not because they want to restore it, because they want to navigate out of it. And they might come and see me because they're like, how do we do this properly? How do we do this without hurting each other? How do we get through a separation? We've got kids or assets. And really come to a space with a third party to be able to do that without hurting each other.
There's a
really
person
nice
we
way of
interviewed, a divorce doula. Amazing woman.
Yes, yeah.
What's her name? She's
Nikki Parkinson.
beautiful human. And I said to Nicola, what joy to know there's a divorce doula out there, someone that can sit in that and look without the legal eyes.
Yeah.
And she's an ex-lawyer. She's a lawyer
she
herself.
is, so
she's
she
got
understands.
that legal brain as
Absolutely.
well.
But she's just gentle.
Yeah.
And she sits with them like that. And I think it's imperative, in my opinion.
And the tips that she gave as well, like, in breakups, or when, you're going through something, or, you get a nasty text or something, and, instead of like instantly responding, which is sort of like your knee-jerk thing, you want to do
totally.
it. It's like pause or an email there, give it 24 hours.
She did, and it was
before you
brilliant.
do anything.
I actually took that advice on one thing too.
And it is 24 hours later, all of a sudden, your nervous systems, that you haven't reacted, you sort of
So
settle
true.
down.
And there's logic
That's part of
prevails.
communication in relationships
It's
as
so
well.
true. I
How many
agree.
times can you
I
have
agree.
conflict? Because conflict, that's probably one of the things. If you can do conflict well in a relationship, you have the likelihood of longevity of the relationship stands. If you can't do conflict well, everyone does conflict, but you've got to do it well. You've got to fight well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is so good, because people will say, I've never had a fight with my partner.
Here I go. Boring.
Where's the variety?
No,
in
I
that?
do it all the time. I go, really?
But you sometimes, and look,
Seriously.
maybe it works for them, but
I
sometimes
just don't
you can
get
have
it.
a question mark on going, do you avoid different things there?
Yeah.
Do you really,
Or what's the level of passion in the relationship?
Yes.
Because when you're not having an argument or you're seeing eye to eye all the time, well, you almost become brother and sister. It's like,
Right.
you're coasting through the relationship.
Yes.
And so you're really stuck in this, as long as it's normal and average, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Don't get it too high and don't get me too low.
Get the
right.
passion going, baby.
So the passion level might
Seriously.
be compromised in a relationship where there's no real fighting. You're like best friends.
Right.
I'd be interested to know how much they're sleeping with each other then.
Yes. So, well, that's my next
So that's
question.
like,
It's
because
like,
sometimes they're just best mates living with each other, calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend.
And that happens
That's
a lot
amazing.
in long-term marriages.
Yes, like companionship.
When
and
you get
also
older,
now
yeah.
it's sort of, and it becomes a bit more on trend as well, of separate rooms or separate bathrooms or separate homes. Like I think especially if you're starting again and you've been
a lot of
in
women like
relation-
separate bathrooms.
And the separate
Well, you can ask
bathrooms.
when you're having when you're older and you go entering into relationships, such as myself. There's certain things that you turn around and go, okay, well, I was in a relationship for 37 years. I did it this way. It's like, okay, this is something totally new. I've got to rethink this. No, actually, I want it this way still. And it's actually drawing the line with a few things, I guess, boundaries, which are really, I didn't know what boundaries were years ago. Now I'm like Mrs. Boundary. But let's talk about older relationships and having another relationship,
Yeah,
moving
okay.
from a long-term relationship into a new one, and you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s.
What do you want to know?
Just have a chat about that, because I really do think there's a lot of women are afraid of it,
Absolutely.
very fearful, and also intimidated. But I think ultimately, maybe I'm too old, I'm invisible,
Yeah.
maybe it'll never happen.
Well, I
or
want
what.
the younger girl.
Generationally, like they
Yeah,
grew up,
yeah,
40
yes.
or 50 years ago in a generation where the idea was to get married, have kids, and have a husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now they're coming
It's
out of
outdated,
that,
yeah.
and they're like, well, who am I if I
Right.
don't have that? And so it's reshaping a whole identity. What they don't realise is that there are a lot of men going through the same thing at the same age, actually. It's not just the women. So they come out thinking, I'm too old, and the men are coming out of relationships going, what do I do? I'm used to having a wife and a kid and kids and working for a family. So they're also feeling displaced. It's not just the women. Men are confused too, because how do they date in on this sort of dating landscape before they met their wife through a family friend at an engagement party on the weekend?
Yeah, right on.
40 years ago.
Absolutely.
And now it's like, I've got to jump online, or I've got to go to a speed dating, event and see how I go. But they're not used to chemistry in that way. They're used to the slow and steady burn.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what even the younger women want that. You'd be surprised. They're struggling. They want connection. They want commitment. And in the latest survey that I looked at, even in Australia, a lot of people are dating for not marriage, but commitment. They don't want the every now and then type of catch up. They want someone to call their own. It's a thing.
And I can understand that as well.
No matter what
because
age.
You sort of,
no matter
and
what age.
sometimes there's, you do want to say, share your life with sort of somebody really special. But I think it has to be someone who's really special. I think it's different, maybe different stages of your life too. But, you want, if you are going to choose to share your life, you want them to be, and in a long-term commitment there, someone who's really your
And
right
the same
for them.
value system, as you said,
Yeah, absolutely.
essential.
And that's what happens as we get older. So coming out and wanting to date at 50 and 60, people will say, oh, she's so gridlocked on her ideas. She's non-negotiable, not flexible.
So gridlocked on.
Her ideas of how he needs to be.
Right.
Yes.
Really fussy.
Expectations, the thief of joy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with
I
that.
would say,
Yeah.
have expectations, but also
To a
be
certain
playful.
level. Yeah. Or be open
be
too.
open.
I
If you
think-
close
I-
shop,
I
nothing's
think
going to
playful
happen.
is also the thing.
playful's
too. I've always
beautiful.
sort of with
I
tips
love being playful.
of going out or starting again, and it's sort of hard, and everyone's got their own story. But I had a 25-year marriage, and then I didn't date for at least a year after that sort of fell over, and doing all that sort of stuff. But then when I decided then to go, well, wow, it's actually my turn now, and my kids were older. So then it was just like going, be playful, have some fun. And I probably had the best time of my life. And it was really fun because I didn't take it too seriously.
I think it's when we get to that age, where we now have all the data, we've had experience, we sort of know, we're a bit more comfortable about who we are. We're less influenced by performance. Really, you can perform, but we're not really impressed.
It's true though.
Yeah,
But that be the real thing.
But
Otherwise
that's
I'm
a
not
fact.
It's a fact.
All of that doesn't mean to me now.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you make me happy? Do you make me laugh?
Yeah.
Do you know, these are the
they're
things.
important to you.
To me, that's like out in the forefront now.
Yeah.
Where it used to be, he's hot and big muscles and this and whatever.
Yeah.
Expectation.
Yeah. How much money does he earn?
Yeah,
Does he-
all of that. And now I'm
where does he
in a
live?
position where I can turn around and just go, what do I need?
Yes, that's
What
different.
do I need?
Yeah, what do I need?
It's like about
What will
what
fill
do
me?
I need?
Yeah.
And it's actually a really great question to ask yourself because as Nicola and I often say, new chapter, it's a book. Life's a book.
How boring would it be if you keep
turn
writing
the
the same
chapter.
chapter over and over
I
again?
Now that's a great thing to say.
think that's exciting.
Same
Like, I
thing.
wanna know what's
like that
happening with
couple
the
you were
other
talking
character.
about,
Just
the
say that to
boring
sort of
vanilla
someone,
one.
I like that. Then if they are a bit hesitant or scared, just go look. Go out there, and if you don't meet someone for a while, it doesn't matter. Have some fun.
No
because
obligation.
It's
That's
data.
true.
Belief
Give
Take
it
the
a go.
pressure off yourself.
Remember, we're talking about beliefs. It's the belief, I don't believe I'll ever find anyone.
Yes,
So
yeah.
they're attached to that belief of I will be lonely. But if you get out there and just be playful without being attached to the outcome of being alone, like you might find yourself not alone very quickly. When you're having fun,
It's very true.
and you're in like the emotional
You
joy,
attract it.
You just never know.
It's like a
what comes
magnet,
out.
isn't it? So true.
Sometimes when you're not
That's it.
looking.
Not looking.
Do you remember the
you
day I
meet
rang
them,
you and I said, I'm ready to meet someone? Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
I do.
And that was like 3.5 years after my marriage breakup, and I was on a mission, wasn't I?
Yeah.
But not if you'd asked me,
No.
and a guide asked me, no, we're
No,
not
there was
interested.
there was
Go
no
away,
way.
shoo.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Yeah.
And as a girlfriend,
I needed to heal.
But you need to. You
Yeah.
needed that time.
She did
Some
need
people
that
more
time.
than others.
Yes.
Yes.
Some people can bounce back in a year and go, I'm done.
And that's great. Good
that's
luck
nice.
to them. I
Some people it
needed,
is 3 years, a little
I
bit
was
longer.
almost 4 decades. I needed to find myself. I needed to grieve.
Yep.
And I needed to heal, and I needed to bounce out the other side.
Yeah.
If I hadn't bounced out the other side, I would need more help to guide me there. But that call to Nicola was very powerful for me. It was like, I'm ready. And she knew it by the way I said
she's
it.
putting her
No,
cape
it
on.
was a bit. Nicola's like,
No,
Watch out, watch out.
Here she
And I
goes.
was so delighted.
True.
But up until sort of like really a bit earlier than that, and as a girlfriend, I never pushed you
No.
to say go out there because it wasn't your space
No.
to do it.
Yeah.
But then when I was saying I'd been in a 4-year relationship, and then that ended, and then probably about a year or so later, someone had set me up with I went on a date with a couple of dates, and how I brought him round, and Di was like the mum, and met him. Whatever.
well, she
But that
walked
was
the
just-
dog and left me with
and
him.
that
I'm
was-
like, oh,
that
hello.
was just before you went actually dating, but I think it was also good
Yes.
because it
I
was
think
like,
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
A man
was.
was in your
Then all of a sudden,
space,
I was out
yes.
again after bang.
Yes.
Out, and then as it turned out, I was still with that person, and the person who I was sort of set up with that came ticked all the boxes from a friend and whatever. There ended up was a Mr. Fake. It ended
yeah.
up being.
Shocking.
So I've actually had experience.
I said
of
to
that
Nicola,
as
I
well.
like him, but there's something I can't put my
yeah,
finger
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Usually usually you can pick it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's your
just
friend or
something
your
I
mum.
couldn't
But it
put my
was-
finger
but it
on
was
it.
from- but
It's
that
so
was-
true,
It's
isn't
either your
it?
mum or your
Yeah,
best friend.
it's
It's
true.
like,
And then you're like, what?
This was different because it was introduced from a friend who'd known him for so long, but still different than knowing someone and dating someone as well.
Absolutely.
So,
So
what they
true.
perceive, you can know them as a work colleague, or
Yeah.
know them going, here's the nicest guy, or who's that.
Yeah.
It's different if you're in a relationship
Well,
with someone.
you
but it's
would
good
know
data
that.
now.
Like, that's
You
right,
know, like
data.
now it's data because it's like when I sort of found out sort of a few things there from the Missed Integrity, it was such nearly joyful to go.
Dodged a
Don't
bullet.
ever, yeah, exactly. Don't contact me again. Bang.
Yeah.
Whereas I was always sort of like, trying to be friends or nice or this or that. It's just like bang,
Yeah.
gone. Like,
Yeah. So
and
that's quite powerful to be able
It
to just
is.
go, I'm done. Whereas
Yes.
before, maybe you would have sat in it a little bit longer, or people pleased a bit more, or didn't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you sort of, that's when your
Yeah.
boundaries are compromised.
Yeah.
You overgive a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
We
Don't
could
you?
talk all day.
I know.
Oh, boy, are we
I
on,
know.
are
It's-
we on
No,
time?
No,
it's
but
like
what
talking to
other-
us. We got
I-
on time.
I know.
Edit this.
Let me see
We don't
what
have
else
our
we've got. We've
producer
got-
here. No, what is it?
let me know. We've got 5 minutes. We've still got a couple more minutes, and then we'll go on to our questions.
Okay. No,
What
because
else?
we normally have the
Yeah,
producer
we'll pro-
giving us
giving
the
us-
prompts.
the
I've got
girls
nothing.
want me
What
out
else
a
would you
list.
Okay,
No,
tell me. Go
well,
through
unless
what
there's
else
something
you'd like
you want to
to-
talk, I'm going to have a drink.
I'd love to hear what you'd like to say.
I think we've covered a lot of stuff.
But is there anything that?
I think,
Yeah.
Funny that.
I still think the identity is a really big one.
identity, but also, Nicola, when you were saying I had the 4-year relationship
Yes.
after the longer relationship,
For you, hit me harder.
I think that
than
hits
It
you
did.
harder than
It
the
did.
marriage.
It did.
Actually,
It did.
The
Yeah.
breakup after the shorter relationship
was.
after
She's
the longer
perceptive,
one
isn't
No, it's
she?
true.
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
would rock you more than the longer one.
Yeah, it
Because
did.
you go into the next one
Perceptive.
with everything. Like you are connecting.
Let's go.
You feel limerence. You feel love. You feel chemistry. I haven't had it for a while. He ticks all your boxes. It's like, this is what I wanted. And then over time, you notice that I was caught up in the beginning of it, and some of the character traits come out, and it's not what you expected.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? They are life lessons. And it's
Yeah.
like, for me, that was just sort of saying how, like from a long-term marriage, which is, when that ended for me, then it's always difficult no matter what. Like heartbreak's
Absolutely.
always
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah.
But it was so easy for me to move on in many ways, say 1 year on, and never look back, because that was the end of that chapter and
Yeah.
many great times in
Yeah.
that chapter
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But when it was a 4-year relationship and that sort of ended, that was difficult.
Yeah.
And then also, when, you go to someone that was in the media, and that's also another level. That
Yeah.
was, I found that difficult.
Of course.
You know,
Because there's exposure.
exposure.
Yeah.
But it's great now to be in a situation going, wow, it's so powerful to sort of have had that experience there, or had that relationship, and it was, there's many great things in it, but to get through those things. So not always length of time is the thing.
It's not time, it could be intensity.
It is intensity.
Yeah.
It's very true.
I know.
Which makes a big impact.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're in a relationship for a long time and there's not much intensity, you're just sort of coasting through, remember?
Exactly.
So it doesn't make as much of an impact. But you're in a short relationship with huge intensity, big highs.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Like, it's addiction.
From one extreme
It
to the
is.
other.
And you want more, baby.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden that's not happening.
Yeah. And then it's a boom thing.
Because you expect it. Because it's been there all the time.
And from what's there. So, no, it's interesting. So, anything else, any last sort of words
yeah,
of
because
wisdom
we've run out of
from Dr.
Two things we have to look for.
Yeah.
I think two things that are also painful in relationships. One of them is the addiction cycle. So this intermittent reinforcement when the push-pull type of scenario with a guy and he shows you attention and then he withdraws. And he shows you attention, he withdraws. The crumbing. Okay?
Crumbing.
So when they're crumbing you, you're thinking like a bit like a mouse. They give you a little bit, you'll come and eat it, and then he'll pull away, you don't eat for a couple of days, and then he comes back in. Creates addiction. So when you are in a relationship like that and it ends, your whole body is withdrawing. You wanna
that's
vomit.
amazing.
You're physically having the same like patterns around addicted to a substance.
I can understand that.
That makes so much sense what you're saying.
If you
Grieving
are in a
can be
relationship
that.
you're crumbing, that you feel like they're crumbing you, and you're coming out of it, and you feel like you want to text them or call them, or you can't be with them. It's the addiction cycle. It's not you're not craving them. It's
And
like
do
sitting
some
in
people
front of a
take
slot
that
machine.
addiction to the next relationship?
It takes a while because they stay invested in that relationship emotionally, even if they're not with them. I miss them. I want them.
They think of only the good times.
Right. Or they can't even describe the feeling. Because when you sit in front of a slot machine and you get a win, you're like, oh my God, that feels so good. And then you stay there all the losses until you get the next win. Like that's what creates the addiction. So that's the same as the crumbing in the relationship. So watch for that.
How do you get out quickly? How do you get out of that addiction though?
So the minute you can find, like, this is where your boundaries come in. If there's inconsistency in everything, in follow through, what they say they're going to do and they don't do, if they show up sometimes and don't show up, like notice it quickly. Yeah, even the first few dates, if he says I'm going to call you tomorrow and doesn't, and then calls you the next day and says sorry, I got busy, call bullshit. Because there is no way he is so busy that he can't call you the next day when he said. Yeah. Okay? You hold him accountable to what he says.
I love that. I think that's so good.
That's one. And the other one is the avoidant.
Yeah.
The dismissive avoidant.
Tell us quickly.
Just quickly unpack that one.
This is the man where you go into, this is how I feel, and then he gets very defensive, and then you never ever get to talk about it. And so you sit in the pain alone, and they are doing their thing. And they don't feel the same level of empathy. They don't feel it's important to talk about. And you are forever trying to talk about how you feel, and it's dismissed.
So because he's defensive, you go,
you
I won't
start
go
learning,
back there again?
I can't do that because then the response is not worth it. It creates conflict. So you start staying quiet to keep the peace, and then over time you build resentment, and over time there is separation. But he keeps coasting along and he's fine because he doesn't know how you're feeling because A, he's not noticing, B, he probably doesn't care, and C, you can't tell him. And so you're living...
Because he's defensive.
Yeah.
Because if you do open that can of worms...
his reaction, it's not worth it. And then he will probably ignore you for 3 or 4 days. You'll get the silent treatment. You're like, that feels worse.
Unbelievable.
That feels worse.
Yeah,
being
incredible.
In
Awful.
Weeks of
Just
like
awful,
silent
nightmare.
treatment or whatever, and trying to talk
It's
whatever, and
punishment.
it was sort of like silent treatment. And but it's interesting because sometimes now you go, wow, I would never do that again, or would never accept that again.
You live
But
and learn.
You live and
You
learn.
hope.
You do.
But
Yeah.
they are so great tips.
get
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
can you believe that? Honestly, we want you here all the time.
Honestly,
It's
I feel like
been
I'm having a
incredible.
coffee with a girlfriend.
And please, our
Truly.
listeners, write
I mean
in.
that.
And now, how can people see you? You do courses as well.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, so
Tell us.
actually
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for the men at the moment because I feel like
we
they're
love the men.
struggling.
They are.
So
Yes.
I'm
They
going to
are.
probably set up a course for the blokes.
wonderful.
Good on
Which is
you.
also going to help the women in relationships. So
100%.
if you're a woman and you think you're going like, I'm going to check out if this guy doesn't get his shit together.
Yes.
Basically, I'm going to create a course for that man that is in that relationship that needs to learn how to communicate, how to sit in awkward conversations.
We all need that.
Like, we all
a
do.
lot of women need that too.
I know, but the
human
men
race
have
needs it.
been so
Pounded.
interested in building our structural, like our outside world, that they haven't even learnt the soft skills around the relationships.
And
so
it's
we have to be a bit reasonable around their capacity. We don't give them an excuse, though. They're old enough to do it.
Yeah.
But let's give them some
The world's
platform.
changed so much. A lot of them are out
they're
there
still like trying to
floundering.
catch
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're
I
a bit quicker.
understand.
Women are a bit quicker than men and stuff like that.
It's just that's the
And we would
nature of
talk
who we
and
are.
We'll get therapy and we'll
True.
do the podcast. We'll get access.
Yeah.
Our ego doesn't get in the way as much. So courses for women, courses for men. Yeah, and then
Good
coaching.
girl.
Wow.
That's great.
And
Balance the
same before
world.
with your
I love
podcast
that.
as well, between the sheets.
Well, it'll
is
all be in
good.
our show notes too.
Yeah, but it's just so
Nicola,
good.
do you want to ask the first question?
I absolutely. I'm going to. If you could share a fence with anybody on planet Earth, Dr. Lurve, who would it be and why?
Well, I know you're going to ask this question. I want like 4 fences. So I want
And
4
you like
neighbours.
That's actually very funny.
I'm like,
I've not actually
I don't
heard
want
that.
one.
hang off them all.
That's really funny.
Because I need my mum to
Okay.
have one because she's the Italian that like cooks
love
for me.
that.
So I need
love
a
her.
babysitter and my
Oh, I
mum.
love that.
And then I couldn't be without my mum. I love her.
And you know what? She's a
That's
good
beautiful.
disco dancer. We got to
Yeah.
go to our
That's
disco
bloody
as
lovely.
well.
I don't know if you've seen the flavour of the month. There's that Maduka Okoye. Have you seen the soccer player, the goalkeeper?
Gosh. Oh, yes.
Am I the only one that hasn't been watching any of the soccer?
Oh, yeah, I have.
So
I feel
he's
like a bloody
6'6".
idiot.
He's
Serious.
like-
And he's from Nigeria.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
I
he's a
believe.
national Nigerian,
exactly.
like,
he's put it
he's like
completely on the
God's
map.
gift at the
Yeah,
moment.
he is.
So I'm
He
like,
is.
I think like that would like internal security, like on the back fence. He speaks 6 languages.
I know.
So he's there. Yeah,
there.
love that.
Very
Would be there.
impressive
I
in
wouldn't
every
mind
way.
Dolly Parton being on the
Oh,
side.
Yes,
that's a
like
strong
Dolly.
woman.
That's a
She's
strong woman.
Really
9 to
huge.
5.
Like soft,
Yeah.
but like
Oh, she's divine.
independent, divine. So
Yeah.
I'd like Dolly Parton, I'd like Maduka, and I'd like my mum. Can I do that?
It's
Yay.
fantastic. Well, I think your mum would be serving food to everyone.
Like she's just going to
I'm
set it like
loving it.
you know every like village. Let's just feed everyone.
I
And
love
we're going to
that.
gate crash that one. So
And everyone's
What
invited.
about a lucky last?
Okay, lucky last question. What makes you happy?
Connection.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yay.
Connection.
Well, then we should change it from healthy and happy because connection creates both.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Connection's really important.
Amazing.
Well, we are so
Yeah,
glad
thank
that we
you
connected
for
actually
coming
at the
today.
Memorial
Loved
Women's
it.
Lunch.
Loved it.
And
Honestly,
when you're going
actually,
cruise
I've
for
looked at
life,
one
it's
question. I was so lost in you through the whole interview. I've got 2 pages of questions, and I looked at one.
So everybody,
could do
will
it.
Yeah,
you
I
can
just
watch,
fed off you. It
watch
was
on
beautiful.
YouTube. Don't forget to rate and review. Now that you know Di's got her own rating systems. We've got Dr. Love.
Oh, you know what?
so
We could
cute.
talk
You
about
know,
this
exactly.
in India, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You're gonna come?
imagine.
I'm coming. I just
that is the
told
land
you
of
I
love.
am my,
The
like,
Taj,
diary.
my
the Taj
goodness.
Mahal.
So we could talk
And the whole
Think
relationships
about
the whole
that.
Would be
time.
fantastic. We're going
I've
to have
always
a
wanted
trip
to
of
do
a
India.
lifetime.
So, and I'm like,
Same here.
who else?
Exactly.
Who else to do
Well,
it with? Like,
yeah, well, you've got to go with a
quickly, because
gang.
there's limited spots.
I
There's
know.
only one.
Yeah, yeah,
That
I'm
is
gonna book it.
fantastic.
And,
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
amazing who has, like, because we
Reached
said
out
we hope
already.
they're fabulous people
Oh,
because it's a
absolutely.
holiday.
Yes, exactly.
And they're isn't it true?
Absolutely
We put it out there like
fantastic.
that. And
So
look,
have a
I
look
think the type
in a-
of like travel that you're putting out there is only going to attract fabulous people. Not everyone has the
Absolutely.
appetite for that type of travel.
Absolutely. So have a look on our show
agree.
notes
I
now.
agree
Link
with
to
that.
come with us. You've
Yeah.
got Dr. Love
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Now, how many stars does Dr.
oh,
Love
she gets
get?
10 out of 10.
Ah, hi,
Because
Shiva.
no, but anyone that's helping others with
Love is in the
relationships,
air.
because relationships are what make the world go round.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of loneliness
Everywhere
out
in the
there.
world.
We need more of you, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly.
If everyone does their part, I think it would work.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you're a vital part
And
of
do you
our
do it
world.
online? 'Cause
Yeah,
people say-
I do online
Yeah, which is
coaching
good.
and
Brilliant.
stuff. So we can work one-on-one, or we
Yes.
do group coaching, all of it.
Are we allowed to say your real name?
Bridget?
Yeah, Brigitte.
Well,
Brigitte.
and Bridget, well, before she comes to
It's
India,
French. It's French for doctor.
she's
It's
off to
beautiful.
Europe for a holiday, so enjoy.
Yeah, love it.
And
Thanks,
thank you for
guys.
joining the
Ciao.
Big Feds. Ciao, ciao.